Wow, that's loud.
It's intense.
Josh, let's skip the fake-out intro this time. It's way too freaking long.
Fine.
Oh, this was made by a committee of people who've never met in real life.
Alright.
See, it's funny because they skipped the fake-out intro by doing a fake-out intro. We call that irony in literary circles.
Top 10 saddest video game moments. Number 10, Dynasty Warriors. A laughing autark production? What?
You know, color on color is hard to read enough, but flames on flames? That's new.
Video games have been endlessly debated as to whether or not they're a new art form. Certainly, like art, video games have been shown to be able to stir up emotions in us.
Like
such
Super
as fear,
Paper Mario!
anger, and
I got so emotional. Frustration and boredom is an emotion, right?
When you're
Yeah.
playing a character
Okay.
in a virtual world, it almost feels as if you've become part of the game's drama. And so when something depressing happens in a video game, it can pack quite an emotional punch, especially with more real-life issues being applied to
My
video
head
games
grows
such as
5
family
times its
issues
normal
or
size.
More traumatic experiences like death.
My skin is so smooth and poreless.
Moved by the complexity that video games offer.
So we're here today to pay tribute to
Nah,
these
yeah, it's a sad moment where
moments in
Dante's
video
hand
games.
gets nicked.
In this list, we're basing our choices based off how close they were to making us tear up. So if you're
But we never
especially
actually
sensitive,
would. We're like
we
real
advise
men.
that you have a Kleenex box on standby. Also, for a list about sad moments, this should go without saying. Spoilers are all over the place.
I'd love to see like a spoiler-free version of this. Okay, in this game, there's this one thing, and trust me,
Trust me, it's so sad.
weeping. I can't tell you any more than that, but you'll know it when you get there.
So what do you think number 10's gonna be?
I hope it's nothing to do with Kingdom Hearts.
They've already showed a lot of Kingdom Hearts, and they've used mostly Kingdom Hearts music, so I'm expecting Kingdom Hearts to be somewhere.
I'm expecting this to be a fake out, and it's just like something else, and they save Kingdom Hearts for later.
There's
Sonic!
one thing that irritates me to no end about the 3D Sonic games, it's their characters. Most of them are one-dimensional and are
I'm really
often
just asking for
annoying,
more character development with Eggman.
Annoying.
Yes! We get it! We know what they freaking say!
Don't get traumatized yet. We aren't even at the first sad moment.
Yeah, we just have to interrupt ourselves to show that we can interrupt ourselves.
3D Sonic
Yeah.
games are uninteresting due to how
I'm amazed that this guy wants less of
However,
Sonic
there
and
are two
Eggman
exceptions.
when they are the best characters.
Hedgehog, who actually
Wait.
had great development in Sonic Adventure 2.
No!
Oh yeah, you know.
Until they ruined him by reviving him, giving him guns.
Yeah, it wasn't until Shadow the Hedgehog that Shadow was ruined. Sonic Adventure 2, though, a masterpiece!
Gamma is a creation of Robotnik's that appears to have emotions. He becomes disturbed by Robotnik's treatment of his fellow E-Series robots, and also
I'm disturbed that he thinks he can walk forward into a barrier.
that Robotnik sent Gamma to abduct. These events lead him to shun his creator and attempt to free each of his brothers.
Eventually, he comes across his big brother, a heavily modified beta who Gamma heavily damages in battle. Out of sympathy, Gamma walks toward his brother, who promptly proceeds to shoot Gamma at point-blank range.
As Gamma lays on the ground malfunctioning, Beta explodes and reveals the bird inside him. Gamma connects the dots and realizes that Amy's bird and Beta's bird are
That
in
is a
fact his
serious
own family.
sentence that someone said
So,
about
Gamma
emotionally
gives up
moving
his dad and
moments.
explodes, releasing his own bird.
Picture this.
Picture this! You're a bird!
Playing Sonic Adventure, and you see the best
Picture this!
character in the game
You're a
go
robot
through all
with a
this.
bird inside you!
If this heart-wrenching family reunion isn't enough to make you choke up just a little,
Yeah, look at this
music that
heart-wrenching
plays when
moment.
Gamma explodes
Look at those
with
birds.
Unlike
Birds look
Sonic's
pretty
death
happy,
in Sonic
actually.
06, this death really hit home for us because of how real a character Gamma seemed.
Don't even say...
A robot.
If
Gamma,
you quote...
We'll never forget
So,
you.
that... No, you're doing it!
Have encountered.
You're doing it!
His was
You don't get to do that.
human.
You can't... Let me guess, this is a joke and you're gonna say, nah, Final Fantasy's dumb, right? It's overrated, dudes.
No, these guys are way too sappy for that.
You know, in hindsight, Aerith's death isn't that tragic.
No, they did it.
Aerith?
For one, she was hardly
Really?
useful in
Yeah,
battle, and she
absolutely.
hardly had any
It's the real
personality,
translation.
being an airhead who pretty much existed to be a living plot device and a love interest for Cloud.
But anyway, we totally
Not
bought
to
it.
mention,
So
Cloud chewing the scenery over her corpse came
Yeah, you can really
across as
chew up
more
scenery when you're
laughable than heart-wrenching.
in a text box.
In contrast to Aerith's death, we had the death of Lavitz Slambert.
I love
They
Sephiroth just going woo in the background.
Psych, I got you! You did not see that coming!
When the life of the king is threatened,
So anyways, that JRPG was dumb, but
head-on
this
to
one's
defend
way
the king,
sad.
resulting in him getting stabbed
Look
in
at
the
this!
chest and
A JRPG character died! At the end of the first disc!
game's first disc.
Yeah, I was right.
Part of the whole tragedy of this scene is that Lavitz was very likable. He was level-headed, selfless, and even a bit of a jokester.
And he looked like he was made of Legos, which are my favorite toys.
He acted much like Dart does and was like the brother he never had. Plus, Lavitz is one of the strongest characters in the game, so his death is even more painful if you've devoted a lot of time to leveling him up.
After saving the king, Lavitz died.
Well, that's just you being petty and stupid,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Faces as they see Lavitz go limp really sell the whole poignancy of this depressing scene. These are completely realistic.
Look at these
reactions.
completely realistic reactions,
As
like
such,
screaming
it's
towards the
not
sky.
effective, but
Lavitz!
Lavitz is just a portmanteau for Lenny Kravitz, right?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, okay.
Jack and Daxter.
Jack and
series, the
Daxter,
subject of Jack's
good.
parentage is never really
Hey, what's
touched
up?
on until the third game. However, it's in the third game that Jack actually gains a bit of a father.
God, how do you make
in
this game look
Davis,
so muddy?
a king that
What did you
initially sees
do?
Jack as a
They
mere
dropped the disc in mud,
but he's
and this is what
able
happened.
to show
God.
legitimate care for Jack. He actually becomes sort of a father figure to Jack. even
Yeah, you
though
said
he
that like
confessed.
20 seconds ago.
Didn't your father ever tell you to pick your battles wisely?
I didn't know my father.
My point is, sometimes you face your enemy head on, and sometimes you wait until his weakness is revealed.
My weakness is JRPG deaths, especially after I spent a lot of time leveling that character up.
Yeah,
Easily set someone else
pretty
to
big
do
tearjerker. I'm actually
And
really
it's
surprised
this
they're putting
cure
something
that
that
gets
isn't a
him killed
JRPG in
an
this list.
explosion. As he
I was
dies,
honestly
Dennis
expecting
tells
everything to
Jack
either be
go
Sonic
after
or
his lost
JRPGs.
son.
Yeah,
Gives
you know,
Jack the emblem that his son's
Eris, Kravitz,
It's
Fiora,
here that
just
Jack finds out that
Whatever
Dennis'
it's-
son was his own past self. That just adds 10 levels of intense right there.
Damus's
Precisely
death
10
and the
levels.
reveal that Jack's his son happen at pretty much the same time. So the magnitude of the sadness you feel at this
Let me just get out my sadness magnitude chart.
but then the emotions go from mere sadness to a mix of sadness and anger. When Count Vulgar,
It's Vega!
whatever, reveals he was the one who took the child Jack from Damus, then proceeds to paint himself as an unbelievable prick by saying,
I'm learning a lot about Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Jack and Daxter.
You are the son of the great warrior Daemon.
Well, now I never have to play 3 at least.
How delightful.
Really?
Oh, remember the 51st States video game? That was a tearjerker.
Remember all those games Adam Sandler was in?
infamous for its replayability.
You know, like Wind Waker.
So much extra content in each game that it'll add on several hours to your game time.
I like that
Majority of
girl.
these being
Mm.
Side quests. The main side quest in Majora's Mask is an entire subplot. An entire romance subplot at that.
Whoa!
This is the Couples Mask quest, aka the Cafe Romance. And
You know, 'cause they make out in a cafe.
From Ocarina of
Mhm.
Time, this subplot is a massive tearjerker.
An old lady asks you to find her son Cafe. Who
No,
went
it's a
missing
time
2
waster.
days
That's
before
not the same
wedding.
thing.
You come across
Yeah,
his
you just have
wife
to,
Bee, an innkeeper
like,
named
wait
Anju.
until
She
like
asks you
a
to
minute
meet her at
before the
midnight to
game
talk about
ends,
Cafe,
the world
who
ends,
she
whatever,
reveals sent her a
and then it's like,
letter.
hooray, you get the mask, and then you
Confused and
leave.
scared, Anju has you send
And
her
then you
letters to
cry
her
all night.
All night,
The next
I
day,
guess I did.
small boy
I
with a
forgot
mask is
about
at
me,
the
crying.
Asking you to
A
keep
lot.
a secret, he reveals that he's actually Cafe. Let's just say that Cafe isn't exactly a lucky person. He was cursed by the Skull Kid to have an appearance of a child as a prank.
Oh
And
man,
his
that's
mistake,
horrible.
He had his ceremonial wedding mask stolen by a thief. Lately, he's been hiding from Anju out of complete shame. It's almost like losing her wedding ring right before the wedding.
On the last
Oh no,
day,
this is a
Cafe and
situation I
Link
can
decide
relate
team up and
to.
retrieve the mask
Isn't that exactly what it is? Like,
By the time you get
that's
the
what the mask is
back,
used
it's
for.
become
Yeah.
Nightfall. The end of the world is near, and
I lost all my money. It's kind of like not having 50 bucks.
wedding dress. What follows is a particularly powerful moment where you literally wait with Anju for
I think the
Cafe
worst
to
thing
arrive,
about this
as
video
the world itself
It is
about
just
to
mainly the
come
way
to
these
an
guys
end.
keep talking.
The music
They just won't
perfectly
speak
sets
normally.
up the tension here until Cafe
No,
finally
they
arrives.
talk about how it's so powerful to literally sit and wait. Sitting and waiting is the most sad and powerful thing one can do.
I do this a lot, actually.
The cafe romance is an almost Shakespearean kind of depressing moment. Caffey's been hit with setback after setback, Anju's feeling depressed.
They just compared
hopeless,
this to like
and
Shakespeare.
finally
They said this was
met.
Shakespearean.
It's literally
Of course it
before
is.
the
It
world
is, yeah.
itself ends. It's an
He has
unfortunate
giant
romance
feet.
that's
He has big
depressing
feet, yeah.
through. Unless you use a song time to rewind it 3 days. Yeah, I know.
Remember that
Kill
book,
the moment.
you know, that play Shakespeare wrote? You know, where there's like an hour where everybody just stands still?
Yeah, and then they go back in time.
Yeah.
It was undoubtedly made for art's sake. In particular, the game has a deep message to it. The main character wants.
What is the deep message of Shadow of Colossus, pray tell?
There isn't?
Like, I want to see what these guys say it
And
is.
kill 16 giant creatures. Dorman even warns the impetuous Wander that the price he'd pay for these actions would be heavy.
But he does it anyway, what
Comes to
a
life
dumb
at
shit.
Games
Ugh.
Product, where Wander starts suffering so much that you just want to hug the poor guy. Before he reaches the
Well,
final
he never
Colossus,
really
his
looks like he's
first companion,
suffering. He just
Aggro,
wakes
falls off
up.
the cliff.
These are just touchy-feely dudes.
And then his face
Yeah,
is
he
like
reaches
a
the
little
final
dirty.
Colossus, the
It's like,
ominous
alright.
music and harsh
Maybe
weight
not
of
hug him,
shadow
maybe give him like a
more despair
towel.
on the horizon.
Give him a good old slap on the back.
Tired,
Yeah.
Filthy, alone, and throughout all of this, you just feel that something isn't quite right. All these feelings of doubt,
You know, I really like Shadow of the Colossus, but
sadness,
it's not this
anxiety
poignant.
just builds up. Still, you press on and
Like, this
sway
part's
the
really
top
cool
of
and
the
atmospheric, but
Colossus.
you're just not like,
So
I
let's
don't know,
see
this
what
just
our
isn't
reward
right.
is for
There's just something wrong about this. I just
Your
got a feeling.
reward is as follows. Dorman,
I mean, that would make you stop playing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of what games want you to do.
This leads an elite guard led by Lord Emon to attack Wander with swords and arrows, very nearly killing him. As the possessed Wander falls, he reaches out to Mono, who is still dead. That's right. Your reward for killing the Colossi is that you get no reward. You trusted a demon, Wander, and now you pay with your life.
It's pretty poignant, I guess. I suppose the deep messages don't trust a demon?
Reveals its true form.
Yeah, it's a good thing I had a video game teach me that. Otherwise,
As
whew,
Dorman falls apart,
I would have
he
been in a
gets
tight
sucked into the
spot.
vortex. We see Wander
I mean, he's
start
called a
to
demon, but you
Dorman.
can't judge them all
His
just by the,
friendship,
you know,
Wander and Dorman
what they're
disappear.
called.
With the temple
That'd be a nice
empty, we then see
demon.
that Dorman
Yeah.
actually did keep his end of the bargain. Not only that, but Aggro
Maybe he's
is
just
also
down
still
on his
alive
luck,
by what
you
appears
know.
to be a miracle. And Wander will never know about either of these things. After all, what's left of him is a horned infant.
The final act of Shadow of the Colossus is a powerful yet depressing moral fable about following authority and the consequences that come into play should one ever defy it. This whole ending is a huge punch to the player, essentially calling you out for trusting a demon with resurrecting a girl whose fate was already cursed to begin with. It's a really confusing ending at times. But all of the
It's a pretty plain and
crap
simple
that
ending.
goes through these
Some people are being really confused right now, I'll agree.
deserves it all, but
God.
in the end, we feel immense sympathy for him.
You know, I actually... They showed a whole bunch of random games in that intro, but I really hope Super Paper Mario's in this list somewhere.
I hope so.
Because I don't know what you could even say is sad in Super Paper Mario except Super Paper Mario!
Mario is a dark game.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
totally.
sure we all know about how creepy Mimi and Super Dementia are.
Yeah, Super
Look at that.
Dementia.
This game also
I'm
features
shaking
one
in my boots right now.
emotional subject matter. The main villain is a tragic villain who wants to destroy all worlds, and it's revealed later that he's doing this.
I am never gonna stop laughing.
It comes to
You know what's way sadder than characters dying and stuff? Count Bleck.
You know what's way sadder than Count Bleck? Anyone who thinks Count Bleck was sad.
After his own father banished Timpani to another realm to die. If he couldn't live with his love, then no one would live at all.
This already depressing backstory comes to fruition in the game's final chapter. When Black reforms and instead Dementio attempts to destroy all worlds, the love of Blumiere and Timpani is put to the ultimate test. Since the chaos
ultimate test.
Forced marriage, in order to counter it,
Can you really look at this script you wrote for yourself and say, yes, these words shall come from my mouth. I will be known for saying them.
Without the chaos,
This is a good idea.
Their link to the Pure Hearts will make them cease to exist.
Whoa.
After exchanging some heart-wrenching words at the altar, the two get married and disappear in a flash of light.
They aren't heart-wrenching at all.
Hundreds of thousands of years from now, that fact will not have changed. Remind me to say those words at my wedding.
All worlds have been saved, and even Nastasia, who was killed earlier by Dementio.
You know, I was gonna say that I would love to see these guys in a relationship if they think this is like timeless romance.
But
Yeah.
even then, she starts bawling her eyes out.
But I guess that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, if these people ever, you know, get married, you know, the words he's going to say on the altar is, you know, well, hold on, let me get out my transcript of every line written in Super Paper Mario.
That doesn't change the fact that it's still
Allow me to
freaking sad.
quote Count Bleck.
Now I just need, how long a pause is this many ellipses? There's a lot.
Yeah. Man, I hope Dementio doesn't, like, ruin my wedding or something.